Hi, today's week 7 parent video for our GKIS app, and I'm Dr. Tracy Bennett. So today we're going to talk about setting up child-safe browsers. Last week we talked about setting up a healthy foundation and understanding with your kids before you start to adopt parental control tech tools, or what we call the Screen Safety Toolkit. Today, we're going to get started with that build by reviewing some basics like how to stay current and consistent with your tools, how to onboard them, how to access browser history on your child's devices, and how to set up child-safe browsers. Some GKIS subscribers will find this content extremely helpful and jump right on the build. And others of you will pick and choose what elements to use in your home based on child, parent, and family characteristics and beliefs. But regardless of what you choose to do right now, you'll have a download with important links on how-to guides, so you'll always have the resources you need to build your screen safety toolkit when you're ready. Because of course, families are always changing and kids are developing over time. So once we cover that, then we're going to tackle parental controls on child devices for next week. So let's get started. Okay, so like I said, we're building your custom screen safety toolkit, which means you're going to onboard tech tools that will help you with supervision, management, monitoring, filtering, navigation. There's so many choices out there. But first, we're going to talk about browsers. So teenagers may not need child-safe browsers, but younger kids do, so that they can't access inappropriate content. Now, things to consider while you're building your screen safety toolkit is you're always going to take into consideration the ages, judgment, and overall abilities of your kids. Some 10-year-olds are quite savvy, some not so savvy, and it really depends on how you think your kid's judgment is online. Keep in mind, though, that no kids have the wisdom or experience to really anticipate what kind of trouble they can get into. Only parents can do that. And because we're tech immigrants instead of tech natives, it's not always easy for us. And that's why we're here for your support and to give you more information. You also want to consider which screen devices are at use in your family. So people have tablets, smartphones, laptops and desktop computers, and also gaming systems. So, and television as well. So we consider any screen technology as a device that may need a tech tool on it in order for safety and supervision. You're also going to want to consider your comfort with digital onboarding and dashboard use. Some of us are really techie and some of us are not techie at all. Most of us are in between somewhere. The good news is we're at a stage right now where the tech tools out there are quite easy to use, inexpensive, and many of them are free. So we're going to offer resource guides and links to all those tech tools. Instead of trying to recreate the wheel, I offer you our screen safety toolkit as a resource guide so that you can step-by-step build your toolkit. And you also want to consider the time and money you're willing to spend. So the Screen Safety Toolkit, just so you know, is one of our online courses, but you get all that content within this app as part of your subscription. So some tools cost money and some tools are free. Some are really easy to use, some are a little bit more complicated. So rather than me make those decisions for you, I kind of only make suggestions for things we've tried and that we believe in and that we like, and then you can make your customized decision based on your family. Okay, so here's what we're going to cover, and you also have all of this information in this week's download. First of all, we encourage you to set a reminder to stay current. I used to call this Tech Check Thursday and put it in my calendar. So every Thursday I would visit my tech tools to make sure that I was staying consistent and on board, because it's really easy to onboard it and be really good, for the first couple weeks. And then, it goes by the wayside because of our busy lives. And then we just forget until there's a crisis. So if you set a reminder in your phone, Siri, remind me Thursday morning at 9 o'clock to do our tech check, then you're more likely to stay up on it, consistent and current. Also, I recommend you start with the free options rather than go for the big thing with all the bells and whistles. If you onboard one at a time, you won't get so overwhelmed and not as much will be expected of you. Parenting is hard enough. I also include some things to think about in regard to whether to adopt Androids or iPhones. Android has a little more flexibility, whereas Apple is a lot more strict, cutting out third-party apps that have parental management systems in them. I've seen many of my friends develop those kind of software companies and go under because Apple shuts them down and they can't get in, which makes some sense because Apple protects privacy and security of their users, right? And finally, I'm going to give you the links on how to set up child safe browsers, both in Google Chrome and Apple Safari, but also with Mozilla Firefox. And then next week, we're going to go over setting parental controls on child devices. Okay, so rather than take up a lot of video time, I'm going to just review very quickly what the downloads are, so you can download them and read them on your own at your leisure. Okay, so this is what week 7 download looks like. It's titled Building Your Custom Screen Safety Toolkit, Starting with Child Safe Browsers. And I'll just briefly go over the intro to offer you the best tried and true digital services out there and save you tons of time and energy. We researched and collaborated with a multitude of experts and integrated feedback from our GKIS customers. Screen safety is a moving target. Digital tools for filtering and monitoring are constantly entering and exiting the marketplace, and they can be expensive and difficult to onboard. Also, social media platforms and Apple's iOS and Google systems are not always cooperative with allowing third-party software access to their customers' private digital domains. So as a result, the effectiveness of particular digital tools wax and wanes. Of course, please don't adopt tools without doing your own confirmatory resource. These are not our GKIS products, so we can't offer any guarantees on effectiveness. We're just giving you a resource guide to make your own decisions. Okay, so here's what your download goes over. Things to consider when you make your decisions, which I just kind of covered, how to set a reminder. Start with free options one at a time, your Android and iPhone. And then we also throw in how to find hidden apps on your child devices. There's a lot of apps that they can hide information. And finally, how to access browsing history on the Mac and iPhone, how to set up Google Safe Search, on also setting up Safe Search on Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, and also Apple Safari. Finally, for younger kids, you may choose to replace your search engine with a child-safe browser. I didn't include those because they change all the time, but I do guide you to commonsensemedia.org because they have an ongoing updated list about these kind of resources. All right, so that's it for week 7. Always trying to keep it quick and easy. And so what I recommend is that this week you spend a lot of your time going over those goals so that you keep up and your tech tool will build and build in a reasonable pace. And next week we'll be setting parental controls on devices. Okay, thanks for listening. I'm Dr. Tracy Bennett from Get Kids Internet Safe.